This is my recap of Chrisley Knows Best. Season 1, Episode 3, Jugs and Ammo. Who doesn't love jugs and ammo? So, the theme of the episode is obviously there's a breast augmentation. So, Lindsay, who is Todd's oldest, is getting a breast augmentation. But the main storyline is that her husband, Will, and Todd don't really get along that well, and they're going to kind of work on their relationship. So I guess Todd is paying for Lindsay's breast augmentation, which seems a little weird to me. But this summer, my mom came with me on a business trip to work on my TV show, and she paid for the hotel. So maybe they just kind of do things a little differently. But Todd does buy her these two huge boob cakes, and has like little candles in and brings it in. She's like, "You're so weird, Dad." But I kind of feel like if he's paying for the breast augmentation, we've gone right past weird. When we see a little bit more about Lindsay and Will and what happened. So from the first episode, we know that she eloped with Will, and she doesn't have a prenup, and the parents weren't there. It was a surprise, and we know that she's a son, Jackson. I'm thinking maybe she either eloped when she was pregnant or right after the baby or something. I'm guessing that the baby was a surprise. This has happened before they were married. That's just my guess, just based on how young they are and the fact there's an elopement and a surprise and all those things. That's just kind of my guess. I assume that somewhere this season we'll hear the whole story. So we'll figure out for that. But Todd has a lot of hurt feelings about that, about the fact that he wasn't at his daughter's wedding. He didn't get to walk her down the aisle. He didn't have any say in it. He's kind of a controlling guy, so that's not surprising. Although I've heard from many men that they feel that if they missed out on that, they would be pretty ticked at what happened. And Todd also feels that Will's not doing a lot to kind of reach out to the family. And to underscore that, we see a big family dinner, including Todd's mom, whose name is Faye. She's there, and Todd's kind of giving her a hard time about, how are things on Christian Single? And she's like, Christian Mingle. So I'm hoping that means that she's actually on Christian Mingle and she's dating. And I have to just do my little PSA here. My husband and I met on eHarmony, and if you have ever thought about internet dating, I would recommend that you do it. His mother also, about 6 months before we got married, she remarried, and she met her husband, I believe, on Christian Mingle or one of those similar ones. And you would never know. You would think they've been married for 50 years. You would think this is the man that my husband grew up with as his father. We're all really close and get along. So I think I was my husband's second date, but I tried on and off for like 4 years or something on eHarmony. So if you have a bad experience, just take a break and start again later. Anyway, back to the show. Enough about my life. During the dinner, we just see kind of Todd and Will interact a little. It's like incredibly awkward. And afterwards, we see in an interview Will say that he gets along pretty well with most of the family, but not with Todd. And I think he thinks Todd's pretty silly and maybe a little self-absorbed. Other thing that's happening this episode is that Savannah, who is the third down the line, the second daughter, she does pageants, but now she wants to do a runway show. So she's got a runway coach that's walking her up and down the hallways, and of course Todd's right there to tell her how it's done. And I actually took runway modeling classes when I was a kid, like junior high or something, and I didn't ever model or get any work or anything, but I did take the classes on the 3-point turn and how to correctly remove nail polish and stuff like that. I guess it's just a thing you do when you're a kid. Anyway, we see Todd sit down with Lindsay and discuss Todd's relationship with Will. And it's a very sweet scene. It seems really genuine. Lindsay, you see her tear up a few times and a couple tears come down. And I really enjoy any moments in these shows that are real, or you really feel like you're seeing a real interaction. And this was definitely probably the one scene out of all 3 episodes that I've really felt like, okay, these are genuine people talking to each other. And he tells Lindsay that he doesn't hate Will, he just doesn't know him, and his frustrations with not being able to walk his daughter and all that, but that he wants to work on his relationship with Will because he values his relationship with Lindsay. And it was really sweet. We see Savannah go to do her show, and Todd's like, that dress is too short, and I don't want her walking for anyone but Chrisley and Company, which is their high-end department store they're working on. And then we get to surgery day, and Lindsay's, kind of a little scared, and the whole family's there to support her, and we meet the plastic surgeon, and we hear about a little bit of maybe some work he's done on the family. Anyway, I know, shocking. And Lindsay gives her dad a hard time. I don't know. He asked about how big they were going to be or something. I don't know. But she's like, oh, Dad, that's so inappropriate. And I was like, I don't know that inappropriate. I don't really know what's appropriate when someone's paying for, I don't know. But it was a little weird. And they're all out in the waiting room, and Todd and Will are talking, and Will's really nervous. He's like playing with his ring. And they're like, well, maybe we should do something together. And, do you have any hobbies? And not really. Well, what about shooting guns? There's a range down the street. Okay, we can do that. And then we see Lindsay after the surgery, and she's just high as a kite. And she's got that, that slow blink that people do when they're, out of it, but they're trying to regain themselves. They don't, they're like, no, I'm fine. I feel good. Anyway, she was pretty funny. It's worth watching if you don't see anything else in the episode. So everyone goes home, and Todd and Will are going to go shooting, and Todd shows up in a, costume. He's got, camo pants and military boots, and he's got, the green right here, the 2 different shades of green. And then he also has a big khaki peace shirt with a big peace sign on it, and he's rolled the sleeves on his t-shirt, which I had to think, and I don't think I have seen someone do that since the early 90s. When you would have a shirt and I was a really young, and you'd roll the shirt, and sometimes there'd be a different color underneath, so when you rolled it, it was a different color. But I don't know when the last time was I saw someone roll the sleeves on a t-shirt. Anyway, he's all, he got himself all pulled together, and they go to the gun range, and the guy, he picks out a gun based on it matches his outfit. And the guy makes a comment about oh, nice outfit, and Todd's like, thank you, see, Will, see, he appreciates it. And I'm thinking, I don't think the guy really meant that, but I think Todd's probably pretty used to just doing what he wants, and who cares who likes it. But Will does make a few little, I would say, snide remarks, but Todd appreciated them because he felt oh, this guy does have some guts to him, with some back and forth, and he apparently kind of relates to people that way with these kind of, back and forth. So that's good. And Todd is a very good shot. I was impressed. And it looks like they are starting to kind of mend their relationship, which I hope happens for the sake of the fact that they are actually real life family. And getting along with your family and your in-laws is so important. I love my in-laws. We're really close to them, and I can't imagine how difficult it would be if I hated them. Now, the last scene of the episode is the most cringe-worthy, toe-curling, uncomfortable thing I think I have seen in a long time. Definitely, I think the last time I was this uncomfortable was when I put on an episode of True Blood when I had my first date with my husband, and I had no idea that there's such an awkward sex scene in the very beginning. Anyway, what happens is Julie, Todd's wife, sees him and goes, oh, well, we're going to have to role play tonight. And then they show it with the camera, and she comes in a little nurse's outfit, and he's laying on the floor pretending to be a hurt soldier. And I would have chewed my arm off to get away from that scene. It was so uncomfortable. I can't even explain it. So yeah, I kind of don't know what to think of them sometimes, but I will see you guys later.